Hi, everyone. It is still July 14, 2021. I'm sure a lot of you know that there are so many areas of our country where the police no longer respond to particular crimes. Prosecutors are no longer prosecuting crimes like this. Now, I'm also sure that a lot of you have seen the shoplifting that is going on in San Francisco. It's going on in other areas of our country.
17 Walgreens councilmen pulling out of the Bay Area because they can't make any money, because you can walk in and steal whatever you want and it's no longer a crime. So Walgreens is like, we're out.
Prosecutors in San Francisco and in many other places throughout the state of California, for example, but not just there, no longer charge shoplifters. So people steal whatever they want.
The store is closing due to what local reports are calling a spree of rampant shoplifting. And look at this. Just 15 minutes after an Inside Edition crew showed up at the drugstore, we found this guy jumping over the front counter, taking an airbed, and leaving the store on his scooter. No questions asked, no one stopping him.
All right, I will link below, but it just continues. You can see people that are just, hey, I don't have to pay, so why not? I mean, I don't have to pay for the crime, so why not? It's insane. Our country is insane. And unfortunately, it's only going to get more insane. These jobs that every administration, now the Biden administration, comes out, oh, look at us, we're so great, we've created so many jobs. Bullshit. And the few jobs that are being created, they're not actually being created. Jobs are reopening. Those jobs that were shut down during our fabulous pandemic. Millions of low-paying jobs. We've had low-paying jobs throughout the Trump years, throughout the Obama years. Manufacturing, oh, you listen to Trump. Oh, I brought back No, he did not bring back manufacturing. Pretty much, we rely on China, number one. China does a lot of the manufacturing. But the jobs are low-paying jobs. That's what's available. And yeah, most Americans can't afford to take them. They're out, just trying to find other jobs. Or relying on that unemployment. They can't pay their bills working in the service sector. Yeah, and here, the evictions that are coming in, just, a little over a week?
As concerns grow about a nationwide eviction crisis later this summer, the White House will once again convene city officials across the country to find ways to keep people in their homes and ramp up the amount of rental relief reaching tenants and landlords. The second meeting is set for July 21st, according to a White House official, 10 days before the final eviction moratorium from the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention expires July 31st. Similar to the initial meeting last month, the focus will be on bringing together state and local governments, courts, legal aid groups, landlords organizations and tenant advocates to make plans to keep evictions out of court, raise awareness about rental relief and expand other eviction diversion programs.
10 days they have. 10 days? Really? They're going to put all of this together and, all of those who are facing eviction are going to get help? We know that Americans who are in need, it's very rare that they actually get the help they need. And here, the landlords. Now, I know a lot of people kind of roll their eyes. Oh, worried about the owners. Yes, there's an awful lot of landlords who are really hurting because of not being able to get rent. They have to pay. They have to pay their mortgages. They have to, maintain the upkeep. And there are a lot of landlords who are not the very wealthy landlords, though this also crushes them. Oh, that's also part of the plan, to crush the small landlords so the whoppers come in, like BlackRock, buying up all of the homes in the United States. The central bank uses BlackRock to buy up the homes. Central bank is buying up the world. And isn't it interesting? Here we have a central bank that is not, it's a private bank. They make their own money and buy up the world. Isn't that interesting that we just don't seem to care too much about that? Well, we should, but, we're, we are looking at a really bad time here. A really bad time. Landlords, tenants, and the rent prices are soaring. As Americans flock back to cities, rent prices are increasing an awful lot. So, we're looking at an awful lot of evictions when that moratorium lifts in 10 days. And with rent prices soaring, jobs that are really essentially, service sector jobs, what is going to happen? What is going to happen? Consumer price index increases 3.6% in first 6 months under Biden. 3.6. Others have put it at 6. Inflation. Restaurants. Grocery store. The food prices are. Everybody is raising their prices. And, it's more and more Americans are using credit cards because they don't have the money except their credit card to pay for food, to pay for rent, to buy what they need, putting them into more and more debt. Worst inflation since the 1970s? Yeah. Stage being set for the total collapse of the U.S. economy? Exactly right. All of this is deliberate. And unfortunately, things are really speeding up. And we hear from Powell, the chair of the Fed, who keeps... it's amazing the news that you get. It's so contradictory. It's, one day inflation is transitory. The next day, it's permanent. IMF chief comes out. Sustained rise in U.S. inflation. Powell continues to insist it's transitory. Many more are talking about hyperinflation. And this just came in. Social Security recipients may get biggest cost of living bump in almost 40 years. May is the operative word. And it ain't going to happen until 2022. What was the Social Security cost of living bump for 21? 1.3. So it didn't bump. but everything is going up. What about the elderly? Well, I guess I fit in that category. All of this news is really anxiety-provoking. High cost but useless master's degrees, and who's offering them? Yeah, it's amazing. I guess a whole lot of Americans really do not know what is happening, especially to the economy. You know, you still have so many people going to college, and they're coming out of these colleges with enormous debt, which will make them slaves forever, because there are no longer any real good jobs here in America. Very few left. And yeah, many U.S. cities are already starting to resemble post-apocalyptic cesspools. You know, you got L.A., you got San Francisco, you got New York. It seems as if the garbage is not even being picked up. You have urine and feces on the sidewalks. You have shoplifters who feel no fear. Hey, I'm just going to go in and take what I want. And are we heading for, let's say, South Africa? What is Yes, I know what's happening in South Africa. I've gotten comments from people. I don't even know what is taking place here. And yeah, I know, the former president Zuma was put in jail for 15 months, contempt of court. He didn't show up for a corruption hearing. So allegations are he looted the country, so South Africans now are looting their country because, well, he's now in jail. Really?
This warehouse in Durban was ransacked by hundreds of people. The shelves emptied, the goods carried out in bulk. It is only one of dozens of malls, supermarkets, and small shops that were targeted by looters. Like this party supplies shop in Soweto.
It's over. It's over. I've got overheads. I owe banks money. How am I going to pay this month? With what?
In some instances, armed local residents went after the looters themselves. The government sent soldiers to the most affected areas as police struggled to control the unrest.
The current situation on the ground is under strong surveillance, and we will ensure that it does not deteriorate any further. We cannot allow anyone to make a mockery of our democratic state.
The protest started last week after former South African President Jacob Zuma began serving a 15-month jail term. He was sentenced for contempt of court after refusing to appear at a corruption inquiry. The outrage of Zuma's supporters was compounded by anger over persisting inequality and poverty in the country.
And for more, let's cross over to DW correspondent Christine.
We're going to get back to what this woman says in this interview, but it's bad. It's really bad. And, well, I had this open. It's San Francisco shoplifters again. And people come to expect it now. But getting back to South Africa.
The path of violence, of looting and anarchy, leads only to more violence and devastation.
Okay, that's not going to go. That's not going to fly. The pandemic hit South Africa really hard, very hard. Look at this. And it's all over South Africa, all over.
There was no room on the road which wraps itself around the port of Durban. It had been turned into a thoroughfare for raiders and thieves as they ransacked warehouses and distribution centers located close to the shipping terminal. The young and the old took advantage, with people on foot, joined by those in pickup trucks who'd come to steal in bulk. And the police and the country's military, well, they were nowhere to be seen.
Why are people doing this? Why are people doing it?
The train tracks were used as a form of escape by those lugging stolen goods, although many tried to avoid our camera.
Hungry, we are hungry.
You're hungry?
Yeah, no.
It was a sentiment expressed by many. Why are people looting? No food, no nothing, no work, he says. The police are outnumbered and bewildered, and some are growing angry. As they race to another call, we saw one officer firing his weapon at people on the roadside at point-blank range.
Yeah, it's bad. It's bad. Listen to what this woman has to say now.
Sarah, the people you'll see looting are underprivileged South Africans for the most part. These are people who live in informal settlements who have been pushed further into poverty because of the pandemic and the restrictions that have come with it. And so what you're hearing from the officials in this country is that these people, their poverty is being exploited. In fact, those were the words of a senior ruling party official, that the poverty of people was being exploited. But what authorities are now investigating is that these crowds, these mobs are being stoked and prompted by a more sinister third force, because among the looters, among the people going in and stealing basic items like food and clothing, you have people lighting things up and setting things on fire who seem to want to be making destruction. And so these people are being investigated because it is believed, or at least they have reports have emerged, that there are some intelligence officials that are believed to be linked to the former President Jacob Zuma, who may be behind the stoking and mobilization of the crowds that you are seeing. But the pictures you see, these are poor South Africans, desperate and hungry, who've been pushed further into poverty in this pandemic.
Okay, so I mean, overall it is a desperate situation for many there. The military.
She also says that there are reports that some police are involved. Now, intelligence agencies provoking all of the destruction? Doesn't that sound familiar? It's really sad what's taking place. But you know what this reminds me of? It reminds me of this.
The future is urban. By 2030, urban areas are expected to grow by 1.4 billion, with that growth occurring almost entirely in the developing world. Cities will account for 60% of the world's population and 70% of the world's GDP. The urban environment will be the locus where drivers of instability will converge. It is the domain that by the year 2030, 60% of urban dwellers will be under the age of 18. The cities that grow the fastest will be the most challenged as resources become constrained and illicit networks fill the gap left by overextended and undercapitalized governments. The risk of natural disasters compounded by geography, climate changes, unregulated growth, and substandard infrastructure intersect to frustrate humanitarian relief. Growth will magnify the increasing separation between rich and poor. Religious and ethnic tensions will be a defining element in the social landscape. Stagnation will coexist with unprecedented development as impoverishment, slums, and shantytowns rapidly expand alongside modern high-rises, technological advances, and ever-increasing levels of prosperity. This is the world of our future. It is one we are not prepared to effectively operate within, and it is unavoidable. Megacities are complex systems where people and structures are compressed together in ways that defy both our understanding of city planning and military doctrine. It is an ecosystem that demands a highly agile and adaptive force to successfully operate within. Infrastructures will vary radically, with concentrations of high-tech transportation, globally connected air and seaports, contemporary water, utilities, and waste disposal intermixed with open landfills, overburdened sewers, polluted water, and makeshift power grids. Living habitats will extend from the high-rise to the ground-level cottage to subterranean labyrinths, each defined by its own social code and rule of law. Social structures will be equally challenged, if not dysfunctional, as historic ways of life clash with modern living, ethnic and racial differences are forced to live together, and criminal networks offer opportunity for the growing mass of unemployed. This becomes the nervous system of non-nation-state, unaligned individuals and organizations that live and work in the shadows of national rule. Where physical domains can be seen, digital domains will have limitless potential to breed and expand without limit. Digital security and trade will be increasingly threatened by sophisticated illicit economies and decentralized syndicates of crime to give adversaries global reach at an unprecedented level. This will add to the complexities of human targeting, as a proportionally smaller number of adversaries intermingle with a larger and increasing number of citizens. The scale and density of these domains is daunting. In a city of 10 million, where you hold the support of 99% of the population, the remaining 1% represents a threat of 100,000. It is an environment of convergence hidden amongst the enormous scale and complexity of the megacity. These are the future breeding grounds, incubators, and launching pads for adversaries and hybrid threats. Linked globally, these are man-made labyrinths that provide refuge and movement across the vast sections of these cities where alternate forms of governance have taken control. The advice of doctrine, from Sun Tzu to current field manuals, has provided two fundamental options. Avoid the cities, or establish a cordon to either wait out the adversary or drain the swamp of non-combatants and engage the remaining adversaries in high-intensity conflict within. Even our counterinsurgency doctrine, honed in the cities of Iraq and the mountains of Afghanistan, is inadequate to address the sheer scale of population in the future urban reality. From the streets of Aachen to the Citadel and Way, we have defeated adversaries who attempted to use urban terrain to their advantage. Urban conflict is written deep into the Army's histories. But in tomorrow's conflict, these megacities are orders of magnitude greater in complexity, and our current options do not meet strategic ends. Our future operations must allow us to run, as historic ways of life clash with modern living, ethnic and racial differences are forced to live together, and criminal networks offer opportunity for the growing mass of unemployed. This becomes the nervous system of non-nation-state, unaligned individuals and organizations that live and work in the shadows of national rule. Where physical domains can be seen, digital domains will have limitless potential to breed and expand without limit. Digital security and trade will be increasingly threatened by sophisticated illicit economies and decentralized syndicates.
Sorry, that was going on for a repeat, but racial and ethnic tensions and criminal organizations will rule particular regions wherever you are. This is the Pentagon's dystopian future. And the Pentagon admits, well, this is a conflict they are unprepared for. This is a conflict that they are brewing purposefully. You know, there are many Twitter accounts that are showing what's happening in South Africa. And it's bad. It's completely violent chaos that's taking place. You have neighborhoods with residents who are doing their best to protect their neighborhoods. You'll see videos of people talking about there's no food anymore in KZN. There's no food. It's all been looted. And they say, whatever food you have, be very careful in terms of, how you're divvying it up, because the supply chain has been broken down. All these businesses destroyed. Utterly destroyed. So, let me go up. Yeah. Don't think that this can't come. Don't think it can't come here. Because it can. People, they were looting gun stores as well. The police were running out of ammunition. 3 people were shot and wounded when a gunman opened fired on their taxi en route to Cape Town. And milk. They've been ordered to dump their milk because they're unable to deliver it to cities, to areas around South Africa.
Cars shot out left here. Millions of rands worth of stuff littering everywhere.
Doesn't this look like the Pentagon's Dystopia? It's... everybody's just looting. Not everybody, but... Then I think about electromagnetic frequencies and what they can do with those frequencies. They can literally cause all of the looting, the violence. They can turn individuals or population of regions into maniacs, violent maniacs. So I'll link below to these. Here, listen to this.
Update for you folks, just so you know, there is no food in KZN. Just so you can understand what that means, Rainbow Chickens has had every chicken that they own stolen from them. There will be no chickens, there will be no eggs. Farms are already being attacked now. This is civil war, basically. We're totally unprepared, and the aim of the game, from the Zulu side of the viewpoint, is to starve us out. So look after the bit of food that you do have, because that is all that you have. All that you have.
And this erupted pretty much overnight, right? All right, I will link below. If you want to come over here, yeah, I looked at a lot of these videos and it just makes me feel sick. Yeah, I'd say it's civil war. Once again, you have, people who are fighting one another and they're not fighting the real enemies.
12 minutes past 6, Bethel in the expensive neighborhood, 8 Braden 5. Guy was just waking up and his wife, and he heard something went through the window, and he went to the office. There was flames all over, so it's a petrol bomb. He just made it outside and the house caught fire. Now the whole neighborhood outside and the back side of the house and the other side of the house. Fire patrol, the fire unit's been called out, no response, no answer, nothing. So they called out the local farmers. They're on their way here to save the fire, but it's already too late, as you can see.
If you live in, a wealthy neighborhood, don't think that that wealth is going to protect you. It's just unbelievable. Well, no, it's not. It really is not. All over. All friggin' over South Africa. And when I heard that woman in her store that was looted and destroyed, and she just said, that she had to pay the bank, that it was just done. She was done. Look, what's happening here, I think there's far more to what is happening here than we know. What is going on here? So what, they're rolling in dirty water or something else? I mean, I see these kinds of, this kind of behavior, and I do have to wonder. But here, this man is talking about how he's a doctor, he's protecting his neighborhood.
I'm Dr. Kevin Naidu. I'm from Reservoir Hills, Durban. We have been manning this area for the last 3 days and 3 nights in order to protect our residents from any further looting, any further violence against them, and any damages to property and life. We've been here, some of us have been sleeping only 2 hours, an hour, coming back, taking turns to go and rest and come back. We have lost our mall. We've lost some of our other supermarkets in this area due to protesting, due to looting. All we have left now is our residential homes. We will continue to man this year 24/7. We are still awaiting assistance from our military, from our SAPs, from our Metro. They have been coming to check on us, but they are very thin on the ground, which we understand. So we as citizens are trying to do the best that we can in order to protect our people. We have a lot of old people in this area, so all us able-bodied guys are here. And some of us have stopped our normal jobs, our essential jobs, in order to assist here. Whoever's watching this here, this is the current situation in South Africa, and it's a bleak situation. And we still hold on to that hope that somebody is going to come and assist us and to help us to gain control of this year again.
So, wherever you are, you have a neighborhood. I hope, especially the men, are prepared to go out and protect your residences, protect your community, protect your homes. and your loved ones, because we're already seeing, so much destruction here. The economy is going down, and that does not portend a fun time. The links are below. Stay safe, everyone. Stay safe.